Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Detroit Tigers franchise rebuild here on Cardboard Cutouts. In today's episode, we're going to start with our first trade offer of the seasons from the Cubs for Matthew Boyd, and they're going to give us Aramis Adainman here. And you can see there he batted 278 so far for the AAA affiliate. He's a pretty good fielder. He can run a little bit. His hitting definitely needs some time to develop, but that's something I'm not entirely too concerned about. He's definitely going to have time to develop. He's probably 3 years away from the majors, but as you can see here, he's fourth on our shortstop organization or depth chart, kind of. But we're going to take a look at Matthew Boyd here. He's 10-5 on the season, 3.08 ERA. He has 83 strikeouts. He's given up 18 home runs. He's having a pretty good year this year. So I think now is the time to capitalize on his trade value. So I think I'm going to pull the trigger here, and I'm going to accept this trade. So this is what our starting rotation is going to look like. Joey Wentz is going to move into the starting rotation to take the spot that Matthew Boyd has left. And then Joe Jimenez is going to get re-promoted back to the majors after previously being demoted because he was having a rough start to the year. So we move into our second trade of the year. This one from the Braves. They're asking for Jeimer Candelario, and they're offering up Jeffrey Ramos, Kyle Wright, and Drew Lugbauer. So first up in the trade is Kyle Wright. He's a 25-year-old starting pitcher. He's a B potential. He's got pretty good stamina. His velocity and his break are through the roof. He's got about a mid-90s fastball, two mid-90s fastball. Second up is Drew Lugbauer. He's 23 years old. He's a first baseman with B potential. He's gonna definitely need some time to develop. His contact and power are about middle. He's a pretty decent fielder to start, but then you see his numbers here in AAA. He's batting 203 with a 294 slugging percentage and 197 at bats. He's not having a very good year to start the year for their AAA affiliate. And third up in the trade is Jeffrey Ramos. He's 21 years old, a potential left fielder. He's a pretty good fielder to start, but once again, the hitting is low. He's going to need a lot of time to develop, and you can see his zones just blue everywhere. And so he's pretty far away from the majors, if I had to guess, which I do. And you can see here he's batting 262 and has a 311 slugging percentage, but he only has 61 at bats, so it looks like he's just recently has been promoted to the AAA. So I started looking at our left fielders, and we have Bryant Packard and maybe even Christian Stewart, depending on how he develops. So I think I'm just going to decline it. And so we're going to start here, and we're going to jump into the futures game first. And Yariel Gonzalez is going to be our lone representative in this year's futures game. He's a 64 overall first baseman, but he can play just about everywhere. And while we're going through the AllStar games, I am going to be focusing on just our guys. So you're only going to see our guys' at bats and our guys' pitching innings. But here's Gonzalez up for his first at bat of the day on a 1-1 count. And he checks his swing, and it runs in and hits him, so he's going to go to first base. Now, on to the top of the second. Gonzalez is back up on an 0-2 count, 2 out with a man on first. And he swings through strike 3, out number 3 to end the second. Now on to the top of the fifth. On a 1-2 count with 1 out, and he sends the ball to shallow center. The second baseman is going to range back and haul that in for the second out of the inning. That'll take us to the top of the 8th, and Gonzalez's last at-bat of the day. That's going to bring Gonzalez up in the bottom of the 8th here for his last at-bat of the day, and he sends a line drive to right field that's going to get ran down for an out. So Gonzalez ends up going 0 for 3 on the day with 1 strikeout and 1 run scored here for the AL Futures and a loss. So that's going to bring us to the AA game, and first up we have Alex Lane, who's actually going to get the start in the AllStar game. We also have Alex Faedo, a starting pitcher, and then Cole Peterson, our shortstop, Nick Ames, a first baseman here for us, Chad Saedo, our third baseman, Cody Clemens, our second baseman. And then lastly, we have Riley Green, our center field and our #1 position prospect. Cole Peterson's going to lead the game off here on a 3-2 count, and he sends a fly ball off the left field that's going to get caught for out #1. That'll bring up Riley Green here, and he's going to free first pitch swinging, and he sends a fly ball to center. That's going to get ran down for out #2. And for our pitchers, we're only going to watch their inning of work, and then we'll sim past the rest. Alex Lange gets the first batter to ground out to first for out #1. That'll bring Brian Mundell up next on a 2-2 count, and Lange will get him to strike out. So that'll bring up Brian Saucedo here, and a 0-0 count, first pitch swinging, a fly ball out to left field to end the inning. Now onto the top of the second, Nick Ames will come up on a 1-0 count with 1 on, 1 out, and he sends a hanging breaking ball deep to left field. That'll get over the left fielder's head. The runner will get to third, Ames will get to second for 2 men on here with 1 out. What a hit. So Chad Saito is up next. He's first pitch swinging, and he sends a hanging changeup deep to right field, almost into the second deck, and that'll give us a 3-0 lead here in the game. So that'll bring up Cole Peterson already, and he sends a fly ball out to left, and that'll be ran down for out #2 in the second. Next up, Riley Green. He has a 1-0 count with the guy on first, still in the second with 2 outs. He'll send a chopper to second, and that'll be flipped on to first to end the inning. So on to the 4th inning, Nick Ames is up again on a 1-1 count, and he sends a line drive to second. That'll be fielded on to first for out #1. Chad Saito is up here again. He has a 2-0 count, and he sends a ball through the left side, and that's going to get down. He is 2 for 2 on the day with a home run and a single. Cole Peterson's up already. He's 0 for 2 on the day. He's first pitch swinging, and that's going to be the short who flips to second to get the last out. Alex Faedo is in now in the bottom of the 4th. His first batter is Brian Saito, and he gets him to fly out to center for out #1. That'll bring in Rex Baca here with the 0-2 count, and he's going to send one pretty well hit to right field, but that will get ran down for an out #2. Next up, Brandon Wagner. He has an 0-2 count, and Faedo gets him to swing through a fastball for strike 3 to end the 4th. Riley Green is going to lead off the 5th inning for us at 0-1 count, and he sends an easy fly ball to left field for an out. That's going to bring up Nick Ames in the top of the second, and he sends an absolute laser of a line drive deep to right, and that one is gone. That was thrown right down the middle, and Nick Ames did not miss that. He hit that one a mile, and that got out in a hurry. That'll bring in Chad Saito here. He's 2 for 2 on the day. He'll line out to short, and they'll field off the hop onto first for the second out in the inning. Now on to the 7th, and Cody Clemens is going to pinch hit here. He has a 1-0 count, and he sends a hanging ball deep to center. Does this have enough to get out? No, it doesn't. That's caught at the base of the wall for out #1. On to the top of the 9th, Cody Clemens is going to get one more at bat here, and he is going to send a chopper to second. That's fielded and on to first for out #2. So we ended up winning 6-2. Alex Lange picks up the win, but he only pitched 2 innings. But the bigger news here is Nick Ames is going to win player of the game, going 2 for 3 with a home run, a double, and 2 runs scored with an RBI. Now that is going to give him a boost going forward, and I'm going to talk about that more later in the video. So that's actually going to take us to the MLB game and not the AAA. And we're looking here, and as we expected, Jose Cisnero is number 2 in the closing pitchers race, so he should make it for the AL. And then Wilson Ramos actually gets himself to number 2 in the votes. He's batting .310 with 12 home runs and 36 RBIs at the AllStar break. That's pretty good. So as we were looking through the roster here, we notice Pedro Severino and Tom Murphy are out here, and Wilson Ramos is nowhere to be found. He's just not on here. So we're looking here at the final tally here, and like I said, Severino and Murphy made it over him, and Murphy's not even batting over 200, and somehow they both make it. And if you look at the voting, look, Severino's down there at number 8, and Tom Murphy's not even in the top 9, I think is what's on the screen. And it's not even close. Wilson Ramos got absolutely snubbed here. Just robbed. So after dealing with that, we jump to Jose Cisneros' debut here in the All-Star Game against JT Realmuto, and he gets him to swing through strike 3 for out number 1. That'll bring up Justin Turner here with a 2-2 count, and he will send a ball to shallow right, and that will get ran down for out number 2. Next up, Omar Navarez here. He has a 0-0 count, and he will be first pitch swinging, and that will be to short left, and that will end the inning. So Anthony Rendon gets the player of the game as the AL All-Stars win 7-1. Garrett Cole picks up the win. And I just have to look at this again. Can anyone tell me what is going on? Like, why they think these two made it over Ramos? Because he's got the better stats easily. So we're going to jump into the AAA game now, and we have Ernest Cabrera as a pitching prospect here in the game. And we also have Bob Montez, which is really good to see, especially if he is a call-up candidate if we trade Scope later in the season. So here he is in his first at bat, the top of the second, and he was going to send one to left for out number 3 to end the inning. Now onto the top of the 5th inning for a second at bat on a 1-0 count, and he sends a ball deep to center, but as you can see, he only has a 19 power, so that's not really his game, and that gets easily ran down for the out. Now onto the bottom of the 9th. Ernest Cabrera is in the game on an 0-0 game, and he gets his first batter to pop out to the catcher for out number 1. Next up, Brian Holiday on a 2-1 count, and he sends a chopper to short that'll get fielded and thrown on to first for out number 2. Next up, Seth Beer on a 1-2 count, and the pitch, and he swings through strike 3 to keep the game 0-0. Now, that's going to bring up Bob Montez again here on top of the 10th. I thought they were going to sub him out earlier in the game. That's why you didn't see his single. As you can see, he's 1 for 3. But here he's going to send a chopper to short, who flips it for the out to end the inning. And as you can see here, the reason why they didn't sub him out is because there was no infielders to sub him out with. So he's in for the rest of the game. And that'll bring us to the top of the 12th, and as he takes ball number 1. And later in the same at bat on a 2-1 count, he sends a lazy line drive to end the inning. And top of the 14th, he sends a ball to right center, but once again, the power isn't his game, and that will get ran down, and the game will be over 1-0. So we're also going to look at some of the stats here at the All-Star break. Joey Wentz here is a 3.55 ERA, but he only has 33 innings pitched because he just got moved into the starting rotation. Now, Casey Mize is having a rough start of the year, as you can see there, over a 4 ERA. Julio Teheran is having a really bad year, almost a 5 ERA. And then that brings in Jose Urena, and he's actually having a pretty good year. He's under a 4 ERA, which is nice to see. And as you can see down through here, our relievers, Daniel Norris has a sub 3. And other than him and Jose Cisneros, our bullpen has just been rocked. As you can see, Aoki there is over 13. Now on to the hitters here. And I'm making a few changes here to the lineup, trying to maximize what we got. Trying to move it around. Some of these guys that are having a struggle of a year. But as you see, Reyes there is almost batting 300, which is a good to see, especially because I wasn't 100% sold on him as a leadoff, but he's been pretty good. And then Ramos, over 300. Scope is starting to turn around a little bit. His average is starting to creep up, which is nice to see. Candelario's having a decent year. Mazzara is cooled off, and so I'm assuming his trade value's obviously gone down. And Robbie Grossman's having a pretty good year. Brock Deathridge is batting 231 with the home runs that's being called up. Nunez has just been awful. Uribu, who we signed earlier, batting just over 200. And Goodrum's batting 266 here at the break. So now I'm going to get into what I was saying I was going to get into earlier in the video. So when a player makes an All-Star game, he's going to get a +2 to his potential. If he starts the All-Star game, he's going to get a +3. And if he is player of the game, he's going to get a +4. So that means Nick Ames is going to get a +4 to his potential for winning player of the game in the AAA All-Star game, or AA All-Star game, I'm sorry. But that's going to do it here for the All-Star episode of this season. Let me know what you guys think. Let me guys know what you think of the absolute snub of Wilson Ramos. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you'll be back for episode number 8. We'll see you next time.